Let's talk about something that can feel really heavy. This heavy thing is called resentment. It can quietly settle into our hearts and minds. When we are on a path of recovery, understanding resentment is so important. It is a key step towards finding true freedom and healing. Imagine you are trying to walk forward. Now, picture carrying a backpack filled with heavy stones. Each stone is an old hurt, an old anger. That is what resentment can feel like. It slows you down. It makes the journey much harder than it needs to be. In recovery, we are striving for lightness. We are working towards peace. Resentment works against these goals. It keeps us tied to the past. It can make it difficult to embrace the present and look forward to the future with hope. Letting go of resentment is an act of profound self-care. It is a vital part of building a resilient and wholehearted life, especially when navigating the path of recovery. This is your invitation to start that process, to choose a path that leads to greater emotional freedom and a more fulfilling life. So, what is resentment when we really look at it closely? Think of it like refeeling an old hurt over and over again. It is like playing an old, sad film in your mind. The film is about a time you felt wronged or treated unfairly. Each time you play it, you feel that same anger, that same pain, that same disappointment. Resentment is more than just a memory. It is a memory that still has a strong negative emotional charge attached to it. It keeps the past hurt alive in the present moment. Resentment has some key characteristics. It often involves a sense of injustice. We feel that something unfair happened to us. We believe someone else is to blame for our pain. Understanding these characteristics helps us to identify resentment when it shows up in our lives. Resentment can show up in many different parts of our lives. It is not just one single experience, it can wear many different masks. Let us think about work, for example. Perhaps you worked incredibly hard on a project. You poured your heart and soul into it. Then, a colleague took all the credit. Or maybe your boss consistently overlooks your contributions. These situations can easily plant a seed of resentment. Family relationships can also be a common ground for resentment. Perhaps a family member made a deeply hurtful comment years ago. Maybe it was during a heated argument. Friendships, which are meant to be a source of support and joy, can also become sources of resentment. Recognizing these patterns in our own lives is the first step towards addressing them. Section 4. The Hidden Dangers: Why Resentments Harm Your Healing. Holding on to resentments might feel justified sometimes. We might think we are protecting ourselves. We might believe our anger is righteous. However, these resentments are actually quite dangerous, especially for those of us in recovery. Think of resentment as a heavy anchor. It keeps you tethered to past pain. It prevents you from sailing into the calmer waters of healing and growth. When you are trying to move forward, resentment constantly pulls you back. It makes it incredibly difficult to build the new life you are working so hard to create. One of the biggest dangers of resentment in recovery is that it can be a powerful trigger. Those old feelings of anger, injustice, and bitterness can be overwhelming. When these feelings surface, they can make you want to numb them. They can lead you back to old, unhealthy coping mechanisms. Resentment creates a state of chronic stress and negativity. This internal turmoil can weaken your resolve. It can make you more vulnerable to relapse. Section 5. Unlocking the Chains: Practical Steps to Release Resentment. So, how do we begin to unlock these heavy chains of resentment? It is a process. It requires courage and self-compassion. The first step is always acknowledgement. We need to be honest with ourselves. We need to name the resentment. We need to admit that we are carrying this burden. This means allowing yourself to feel the anger, the hurt, or the sadness associated with it, without judgment. Simply saying, "I feel resentful about this situation," can be a powerful starting point. It brings the issue out of the shadows and into the light where we can begin to work with it. The next step involves understanding the resentment more deeply. Ask yourself some gentle questions. What is the story I am telling myself about this situation? What specific need of mine was not met? Was it a need for respect, for safety, for appreciation, or for connection? Putting your thoughts and feelings down on paper can provide clarity. It can help you see the situation from a slightly different perspective. This is not about blaming yourself. It is about understanding your own experience and your own reactions more fully. Finally, the path to releasing resentment often involves forgiveness. Forgiveness in this context is primarily for you. Section 6. The Gentle Journey: Finding Peace Beyond Past Hurts. Letting go of resentment is rarely a quick fix. It is not like flipping a switch. It is more like a gentle journey. It is a path that unfolds one step at a time. There will be moments when it feels easier. There will be other moments when those old feelings try to creep back in. This is perfectly normal. The key is to be patient with yourself. It is about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a good friend who is struggling. Remember, you are learning a new way of responding to old wounds. This journey requires ongoing practice and commitment. It is like tending a garden. You have to keep an eye out for the weeds of resentment. When they pop up, you gently remove them. This might mean revisiting the steps of acknowledgement and understanding. It might mean reminding yourself of your choice to let go. Some days you might need to focus more on self-care. Other days you might feel strong enough to explore deeper layers of the hurt. Section 7. Stepping into freedom, the healing power of letting go. As we reach the end of this exploration, let us focus on the incredible freedom that comes from letting go of resentment. Imagine finally setting down that heavy backpack we talked about earlier. Feel the relief in your shoulders. Feel the lightness in your step. This is the gift you give yourself when you choose to release old hurts. It is a profound act of self-liberation. The energy that was once tied up in replaying past grievances is now available for you to use in positive and life-affirming ways. The healing power of releasing resentment is immense. When you let go, you create space. You create space for joy, for gratitude, for new connections, and for new experiences. Your heart becomes more open. Your mind becomes clearer. You are no longer viewing the world through the distorted lens of past pain. This allows you to see the beauty and goodness that is present in your life right now. It allows you to engage more fully with the present moment, which is where life truly happens. This journey transforms not only your inner world, but also your relationships. When you are not carrying the weight of resentment, you can connect with others more authentically. You can build trust more easily. Follow us on TikTok at Recovery, Journey 33, Instagram at Recovery, Journey 33, and Recovery, Journey for more content like this. See you on the next one.